Mr. McAfee. This is another question about getting the citizens involved and having them understand what's taking place in the city. As a planning commission member, you understand all of the codes for rezoning that most people, well, I still rest my case then, that the rezoning undertakes. But they're in terms not known to common man. I'm going to read something here, and this is from a planning commission agenda. RZ 2011-02. This is a city-initiated request to rezone the following properties from CT, commercial transition, I-1 industrial, CH commercial highway, and R8 residential to CD commercial downtown. Do you really think the average resident has any idea what that means?
What part of that didn't you understand? No. There are abbreviations in there, and anyone seeking to get into the micro level of understanding on those types of issues does have a bit of a learning curve in front of them. My planning commissioner friends will tell you that there is a learning curve involved. We actually go through a certification process to get up to speed. I've read dozens of books on the subject and tried to get ahead of the curve. One of the big advances that we're making here in the city is we're taking the old ordinance book and we're taking the old zoning codes, and we are making a unified development ordinance. What's that? That's a third thing. No, that's going to erase the other two. It's going to get rid of a lot of conflicting language. It's going to make the information easily indexed and easily, well, let me say more easily available to the average person. It will also have a definitions section in it that will help you get over some of those terms. And it should also include a reference page of how you email or contact your local government to find out what you still are in the gray area about. For too long, when we've tried to do something, it requires, even the professionals, the civil engineers I know that we work with on the Planning Commission, they have to go back and forth through these documents, and when they're through, they're in complete disagreement sometimes with our city officials on how this is all interpreted. So no, the average person is not going to get it. They don't get it. There was conflicting information when we tried to update an ordinance on a cluster ordinance. This would allow us to create more green space in any given particular project. But the ordinance failed because of conflicts in the legacy document. The Unified Development Ordinance, the draft is online. I invite you to look at it. It's the next best thing.
And let me follow up just a minute. Would you agree, as long as you're on the Planning Commission or if you're on City Council, to somehow put out agendas? I know that you may understand it, the engineers may understand it, the developers may understand it, but someone might want to know what's going to be going up the street from that. Is there some way agendas could be something a layman could read?
When we started the internet site for the city of Fredericksburg, I thought, oh boy, our problems are solved. It's been a long battle to just get the comprehensive plan and the jumpstart document on it. For some reason, I can't seem to convince people. I had 2 years as the Planning Commissioner Chair to try to get those things on the city website. Again, we need a paradigm shift. When information is at the city hands, it should not be, can we make this document available to the public? The paradigm has to be, is there any reason why we cannot make this document available to the public? Does that answer the question?
Yes.
All right, well, I certainly appreciate Mr. McAfee's insight, and frankly, maybe like most of you, I don't understand half of what that was, other than I applaud the efforts to improve the process and to make it more accessible for those of us out there who aren't engineers and don't speak that lingo. So absolutely, it sounds like a step in the right direction, and I appreciate that.
Mr. McAfee already eloquently spoke about our Unified Development Ordinance, which is coming to you any month soon. Hopefully by this summer, we will have that finalized and ready for approval. And it is developed, it is designed to make things make more sense, be more streamlined, and just be much easier to read and deal with. As far as making things easier, I don't know that it's something we've considered as far as, people seem to know what they are talking about when they come to council and want to talk about it. So it's great that people have been educating themselves if they're not familiar with the terms, but making those terms more readily available is not an issue if, you know, if that's something that makes things just easier for people in the public to deal with. But again, we certainly have folks who come and express themselves when we have something on our agenda like that, and that's what we hope for.
A quick translation of some of what Mr. Hammerstrom just read to you. Council's already approved the possibility of commercial development in residential areas by special use. Council is looking at a change that would allow larger buildings, much more dense development along the Lafayette Boulevard corridor in our historic district. Whether you're opposed to it or for it, that's fine. The fact of the matter is most people are not aware that that's happening. Whose job is that? That's the council's job. When I was on council, and since I've been off council, I've written 20 op-eds on every topic you can think of that's going on in this city. I've got a policy blog that has 67 posts on any issue you can think of. I've got 777 posts on Fred Talk, 6 topics, and I don't know what else. I engage in patch on a regular basis because I want to hear and I want to be engaged in a discussion with the public and make sure the public understands what we are doing. So sometimes it's not staff's responsibility necessarily to explain that. It's the council's responsibility to say, hey, look, we're changing the dynamics of downtown and we're changing it in this way. What do you think? Not just put out a little notice and have their standard public hearings and then move on. The council needs to be engaged. Thank you.